All right, guys. So before we'll go further, let's just get more sheets here because a typical architectural projects are going to have 10 to 15 sheets of paper. And instead of having to go to view, sheet, and then load a title block over and over again, we've already did it. So what you want to do is you just want to right click here and just go to duplicate with detailing, right? Or empty sheets. So same thing. What detailing does is if you have other drawings in here, it'll duplicate that too, but you don't want that anyway. So, and then of course, it's just populating G1, G2, G3, G4. I think typically here, if you look at our title block or if you look at the sample drawings that I gave you, how many G series do I have? Yeah, I have like G1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 6 G series sheets. So let me create a few more. And what's really nice doing it this way is that what you notice is that the numbers go sequentially, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, I can change the name of the sheet, which I'll do at another time. But now I have 6 new sheets. Let me actually go back here. I'm going to rename that. And then the architectural series will start as A01, A02. And then that might be a demo plan. And of course, the names are all interchangeable. So you got the A series here. And again, I can just start to duplicate that. So you got A02. So at least it starts off some of my work. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all right, enough of that. And I guess we'll add more sheets as necessary for this particular project. And oh man, all my sheets open. Oh, so here's another shortcut. I now have, a good, lots of sheets open here. And this actually happens a lot in Revit because you're looking at multiple views, multiple sheets on the same project. And if you get to a point where you have too many tabs or windows open, just go ahead and select one window that you want to keep and then hit this button here, which will close all of these other views that you're not using. So then, it just kind of closes them. But of course, you can reopen them again by clicking on them and blah, blah, blah. So, all right. So let's just continue on with our site plan here. And this is where we're going to create our cover sheet, if you will. And let's look at our sample, and we want to try to mimic this. So we know we're going to have a site plan here. We're going to have the project title, the project address. But remember, guys, we have the project title and the project address here. And we don't want to have to repeat information, right? We don't want to have to copy paste things if we don't have to. So again, if I put in a label here, it'll be done automatically. So let's put a project title and project address here, but we don't want to retype it because the information is already there. But you notice on this file, we're at the actual project folder here. If I go to annotate and go to text, I don't have an ability to put a label, meaning that if that's the case, then I just got to type, Doe residence, right? And put it here. And if the text is too small, of course, I could make a text bigger, which we should do in a second. But long story short, this is just a regular text and I have to retype it, which is not a killer if I just have to do it on this one sheet. But, in an office, you might need, you need a cover sheet on every project, and you don't want to have to retype things on every project. So the best thing to do is to have another title block. In my office, we have 2 different types of title block. We have a title block just for the cover sheet, and then we have a regular title block. So I'm going to now modify this to be my cover sheet title block. All right, so let me erase this and stay with me, guys. So I'm going to click the title block. We're going to go to Edit Family. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a Save As right away because I don't want to affect this title block. Let me get out again and take it slow. Again, this title block, which is MA-ARC-D, all my sheets have that title block, MA-ARC-D. So if I make a change into this title block, all of these things will change, right? So what I want to do is I want to take my MA-ARC-D title block and do a Save As. And I'll save it into my same custom families folder. And then this time I'll say MA-ARC-D _ cover. All right. So this is a brand new family now, and it's not loaded onto my East Ridge project yet. So this is where I want to set it up so that this is the title block that I will use for my cover sheet. So I'm going to take this project name and project address here, Control C, and then Control V. I'm basically making a copy of it. I'm going to rotate this thing. And I want my project name to show up here, my project address to show up here. And in this case, I want that label to be much larger. So right now it's at 1/4 inch, but maybe I want to show up really big, like 1/2 inch, right? So this is where we're going to also teach you how to add, larger text or different text styles. So if you look at this label that I selected, right? And of course, if I go to edit here, it's asking me what information do I want to add to this label. I already have project name, so I don't want to change that, but I just want to make it bigger. I want to make that label bigger, not text, the label. So if I click this, right now that label is called 1/4 inch. And then if I come down here, I can pick a label that's 1/8 of an inch, 3/8, which is actually pretty big. But they don't have a 1/2 inch. So we're going to create a 1/2 inch label. Well, how do we do that? You select the label, you're going to go to edit type. So I want to select that, edit that label. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to name this 1/2 inch, which in my mind, it represents 1/2 of an inch, the text size. Oop, my number lock was off. Sorry, guys. And so when I'm telling Revit is that if I want this type of label, I want my text size to be 1/2. Right? So here's all the other labels that I have by default, right? 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 3/8. So if I go to 3/8, you'll see that changes to 3/8. If I go to 1/2, I just inputted 1/2, so I changed that to 1/2. All right? So I created a brand new label, and I'm making that label have a text size of 1/2 an inch tall. So there it is. I have project name, project address. I want that to be a 1/2 inch also. And in this case, I want this guy to be left justified, and that guy also to be left justified. And I want my address to get along that way, and we're good to go. All right, so let's just take it one step at a time. And on this time, I'm not going to close it because I know I'm going to come back to this and edit it further. So I'm just simply going to load it onto our project. And then it's just hey, I can't load it onto my view, my model view, but it should be in my sheet view. All right. So here it is. Oops, sorry, on this one. So if I come here, you'll notice that that's my original ARC-D. But remember, I loaded a new family called ARC-D _ cover, I believe. So if I click this, here it is. It shows up right here. So then now this automatically gets populated. Though residence, blah, 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 and here. So now we have to go back and see what other information we want on our title block. So we have that. We're going to work on symbol legend, text later. Over here on the project data, this is going to be static, right? This is your company. But this part, you can pull that information because that's the project address. So let's just kind of focus on this part here. So the way how I would do that is, again, I will go back to the title block. So I'm changing my cover title block, and I'm going to start typing just regular text, 3/32. Yeah, no, I want it to be maybe a 1/4 inch. And I'll put project, what is it, project what? Project directory. Excuse me if I misspell things at this moment, but I'm just going to keep going. And then here I can copy that, and then it'll be my office name, and I'll make that a little bit smaller, like an 1/8. And it'll be, you know, architect. You know what? I think I'm going to do it this way. What else do I have here? Architect, my address, and project architect. Okay. Oops. So I'll put this in a separate text bar here. And of course, because this information never changes, right? So that this is where you want to put static text. 821 Lime Avenue. You know, phone number, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So that's what you want to do. And then, so I'm not going to fill in all the information, but I like you guys to fill in every information, just like the way how you see it on the handout. And then we're going to say here, project address. Actually, probably want my client name. Client name, project address, etc., etc. We want this one to be right justified. And then somewhere here, and I should make that right justified also. And then it'll just kind of lock in. So Revit's pretty nice. It'll give you guidelines or virtual guidelines. And again, I expect you guys to put in all this information as much as possible, just as practice, okay? But I'm just gonna cut it short. So this is my base. None of this information will change, but my client name will change depending on, you know, where I put this family into a new project. So I don't want to have to rewrite any of that stuff. My project address, again, this is a project address label. This is a project address label, so I can copy any one of these things. But if you wanted to make your own from scratch, instead of copying and pasting, this is what you would do. So you would say label, and then say I want my label right here. And then it's asking me, what do you want to label, right? This would be project address. Insert that in. So there you go. So now I have a project address here and here. These two are the same thing, guys. Just remember that. It's drawing from the same information. So I have project address and the text 1/8 inch. So I just want to make sure my label is 1/8 inch. Yeah, so all that. And then, so that's how you create an address, a label from scratch. But I'm just going to copy this now. And I'm going to make this label not show the project address by going to the edit. But I want to show client name. So there you go. So again, I'm going to keep this open, but I'm simply going to load this into my project. And then come here, and here it is. So client name, John Doe, project address, blah, blah, blah. These were text, remember? So those were static. So I think I'm going to stop my demo here, and we'll see you on the next video.